Right, quarterfinal Lisbon Tuesday night. Arsenal are the number one ranked team in the world right now, literally top of the Opta Power Rankings. Sporting are 13. On paper, this should be comfortable. But Sporting just came back from 3 goals down to beat Bodø Glimt 5-0 at home. Only the fifth team in Champions League history to ever do that. So comfortable is probably the wrong word. Rui Borges Sporting are like a guy reaching villain, the one everyone underestimates in the first act. Quiet, patient, organized, and then suddenly they've turned you over before you even knew the game had changed. That's the Bodø Glimt story. Down 3, out, done, and then 5 goals at home in extra time. Arsenal cannot afford to treat this like a formality. The midfield battle is where this gets decided, and the key figure on Sporting side isn't who you might expect. It's Gonçalo Inácio, the centre-back, 40 line-breaking passes across the 2 legs against Bodø Glimt, the most by any player in a knockout tie this season. That's not a defender sitting back and recycling. That's someone actively breaking Arsenal's defensive structure from deep. If Ødegaard and Rice don't read those passes early, Sporting are suddenly in behind. Arsenal's answer to that is control, and the numbers back it up. Lowest goals conceded per game in this Champions League campaign, 0.5. Lowest XG against per game, 0.75. Lowest shots on target face, that's 2.7. They've only trailed for 42 minutes all tournament. That's elite defensive organization. But that entire 42 minutes came in the first leg at Leverkusen. Borges will make sure his players know that. Going forward, Arsenal's weapon is Gyökeres, and this is the storyline of the game. He scored 6 goals in 8 appearances for Sporting last season. That is his old club, his old stadium, his old fans. He could become the first player ever to score both for Sporting and against Sporting in the Champions League. That's the kind of moment that wins ties. On the other side of it, Luis Suárez, the Colombian, not the Uruguayan. 5 goals in this European campaign already. 1 away from equaling the club record Gyökeres himself set last season. And Suárez isn't just finishing chances, he's being fed by Inácio's line-breaking passes from deep. That's the combination Arsenal defense needs to shut down. But the last line of defense is Raya. And right now, Raya might be the best goalkeeper in Europe. 12 goals conceded from 19.6 expected goals on target across the last 2 seasons in this competition. That's plus 7.6 goals prevented, better than any other keeper in UEFA's top competition in that period. When Sporting do create something, and they will, Raya is the reason it probably doesn't go in. Sporting's vulnerability is the wide areas under pressure. Geni Gatamo on the right, Trinsao on the left, both capable, both willing to carry the ball. Without Saka, Madueke will need to isolate wide defenders. In a game that might produce a handful of real moments, Madueke getting one-on-one with Vagianidis at right back is the most likely route to a goal. Not a sustained spell of pressure, just one moment, one isolate, one delivery or cut inside. The question is whether Arsenal's injury situation affects how much they can build around him. Rice, Gabriel, Trossard, Timber, all carrying fitness doubts. Eze and Merino already out. If Madueke starts, watch that right channel. That's where this tie gets decided. 7 meetings, Sporting has never beaten Arsenal, not once. 4 draws, 3 defeats, including that 5-1 in Lisbon just last season. 5 different scorers, a statement result. But here's the tension. Arsenal have never won away against Portuguese opposition in a knockout tie. And I mean never. Lost to Porto in the last 16 two seasons ago. Drew both legs against Sporting in the Europa League in 2023 before going out on penalties. So there's a historical thread here that runs both ways. Sporting can't beat Arsenal. Arsenal can't beat Portuguese sides in knockouts away from home. One of those records ends on Tuesday. Opta gives Arsenal 53% chance of winning this leg. I think that's about right, but it feels closer than that number suggests. Sporting at home, 5 wins from 5 this season in Europe, the longest winning streak by a Portuguese side in the competition since Porto in 1999. A crowd that will believe, especially after what they did to Bodø Glimt. Arsenal need to be disciplined from the first whistle. Don't trail, don't give the stadium a reason to believe. Because if Sporting gets a goal, that place will erupt. It becomes a different game entirely. If Arsenal keep it right, and their European defensive numbers suggest they will, Gyökeres against his old club, and we go back to the Emirates with the tie in Arsenal's hands, that's exactly the picture. But if Sporting gets Inácio's passes before Rice does, if Suárez equals that record, then Borges has just written the next great Champions League comeback story. And the Emirates becomes the most nervous place in North London.